Have you ever noticed uh, something strange about human mind? Anybody? Any guess? Sometimes we forget the simplest things. We forget what we put our keys. We forget what we ate yesterday. I put on my glasses. It's hard for me to see. We forget small details from ordinary days. Is that right? But um, then there are other memories, a conversation from years ago. A painful moment. Something someone said to us. Something that happened when we were younger. I think I have a problem with my eyes. Somehow, those memories can stay incredibly clear. Why that? Anybody know? That's strange, right? Where did it go? Meow. Sometimes we remember the exact words. We remember where we were standing. We remember how we felt in that moment. sometimes the memories can come back when we least expect it. When we least expected them. Maybe you're driving. Welcome in, Jordan. How you doing, Jordan? Maybe you're trying to fall asleep. How you doing today, Jordan? Maybe you're having a normal day. And suddenly your mind bring you back something from the past. Did that ever happen to you? Let me know in the chat, everyone. And many people ask themselves, so what do they ask? Anyone know? Give me a clue. They they're asking themselves, why am I still thinking about this? Right? Well, I should move on. Whether this will affect me? Anyone? Any watching so far? I think those are very important questions. Don't you think so? Because a lot of people misunderstanding what is happening inside their own mind. Is that right? They assume that if a painful memory come back, it means they're weak. But I don't think that's true, Now, there are some, it means they haven't healed. Is that right? Can someone tell me in the chat or no? So what do you think about this? And there's something is wrong with them. Now, let me tell you, but that's not the real explanation. But if your friend is not trying to hurt you, what if your friend is actually trying to protect you? I know that sounds strange, right? Because when the painful memories come back, it doesn't feel like protection at all. Is that right? It feels frustrating. It feels exhausting. Sometimes it feels like your own mind is working against you. Isn't that right or no? And someone tell me in the chat. I'd love to hear from you. Let me see. Okay, let me continue. But today, I want us to explore a different way of looking at it. Maybe your friend is not your enemy. Let me bring something real quick here. Maybe it's a system that learns something important from your past experience. And once we understand why the brain did this, we can start understanding how change becomes possible. Don't you think so? What do you think? Let me know in the chat. Now, let's think about something simple. Imagine you're touching a hot stove when you were a child. So, how did it feel touching a hot stove? The first time, you didn't know the stove was dangerous, right? But after that experience, your brain remembered. The next time you saw that stove, what do? You were more careful. You didn't need someone to explain everything again. Isn't that right? Your brain already learned. What did it learn? Pay attention. They could hurt you. In many ways, that ability is one of the reasons humans survive. Now, I think that's important for us to know, right? Our brains are designed to learn from experiences. They remembered what helped us. And also remembered what hurts us. And remember situation where we felt unsafe. The interesting thing is the brain doesn't only learn from physical danger. There's no, it also learn from emotional experiences. Now, that I think that something that we need to remember, right? A painful relationship, being rejected, being criticized, cancelled, growing up in an unpredictable environment. Um, um, Experiencing something frightening or overwhelmed, or maybe overwhelming for you. No, those experiences can also teach the brain what they teach. It teach, pay attention, be careful, try not to let it happen again. Now, and it leads to something that I think many people um, find surprising. Sometimes the problem is not that your brain remembers too much. Sometimes the problem is that your brain is trying very hard to protect you um, using information from the past. That something worth remembering, I think. The question becomes, how did the brain know when the danger is actually over? Do you ever ask yourself that question? Can someone tell me in the chat? And what happens when the brain continues responding to yesterday's danger? While we're living in today's world, maybe that's something we need to think about, right? So why does the brain do that? Anybody know? Now, one of the most interesting things about the brain is that it just doesn't experience um, every memory the same way. Some memories feel like the safely starts in the past. How strange that is, right? You can think about them and say it. Yes, that happened. That was a difficult time. But I'm okay now. But other memories feel different. So how different is that? Anybody know? Let me turn on my light real quick here. Okay. They don't feel like something that happened. Why that? That's really strange, right? They feel like something that is happening. Now let me ask you this. So, now question is, have you ever had that experience? Thank you. Well, you know, logically, that you're safe. But your body reacts as if something is wrong. Why that? And let me know. Type in the chat. Maybe your heart starts beating faster. Maybe your muscles become tense. Or maybe you suddenly feel anxious or uncomfortable. And part of you is asking, why am I feeling this way? Do you ever ask yourself that question or no? Let me know in the chat. I'd love to hear from you. Nothing is happening right now. Now, here comes the important part. Did you wear understanding the nervous system becomes very important. Because your brain is not only responsible for thinking, it is also responsible for protecting you. And sometimes protection happens automatically. before you even have time to analyze the situation. So now, let me give you an example to think about. Now, let's think about driving a car. When someone first learn how to drive, they have to think about everything, right? So what do they think? Wake up right. How much pressure should I use? What should I turn? And everything requires attention, right? But after years of driving, something changes. So, so you can drive a familiar route while your mind thinking about something else. So did that happen to you all the time? I know. I want to hear from you. Let me know in the chat. Let's see. Your brain has learned the pattern. Now, this ability is very useful because our brain are designed to create patterns because patterns save energy. But the same thing that help us drive automatically. Can also make emotional reaction happen automatically. Now, for example, just imagine someone grew up in an environment where they were constantly criticized. It's not a very happy environment, right? Maybe every mistake was pointed out. Maybe they felt like I was never good enough. So imagine that kind of environment. It's not, I get it, not a very happy environment for some of the people that, grew up in that kind of environment, right? Over time, the brain may begin to create a connection. So, what is that connection? Making mistakes means danger. Being criticized means rejection. Someone being upset means something bad is about to happen. And now, imagine that person in a low. They make good job. They have supportive people around them. They're no longer in that old environment. But one day, um, a coworker says, "Can we talk about something?" Now, to another person, the sentence might mean nothing. It might simply mean a normal conversation. But to this person, nervous system, it may feel familiar. The person may remember. So, what does it remember? It said, hey, I know this feeling. Last time someone wanted to talk, I get hurt. Last time someone was disappointed, I felt unsafe. And this is where people often blame themselves. They say, why am I reacting this way? Why am I so sensitive? Why can't I just be normal like everyone else? But maybe the better question is, what did my brain learn from my experiences? Because every reaction has a history. Sometimes we see the reaction, but we don't see the story behind it. I mean, the story behind that reaction, we see someone becoming anxious. We see someone sitting down. We see someone becoming defensive. But underneath that reaction, maybe a nervous system trying to avoid a pain. It remembers. And now I want to clear about one thing. I mean, about something. Understanding um, why something happens doesn't mean that we stuck with it forever. It doesn't mean it is just who I am. It doesn't mean my past control my future. Actually, understanding is often the first step toward change. Because we cannot change a pattern that we don't recognize. Is that right or no? Someone can tell me in the chat. Love to hear what you think. And they bring us to another important question. So what is that question? If the brain can learn fear, if the brain can learn protection, can the brain learn safety again? So what do you think? Now, can someone who has spent years feeling anxious, overwhelmed, or constantly on guard, actually teach a nervous system something new? So what do you think? I hope to hear from you. Let me know in the chat. And that's what I want to explore next. So now we come to a question that I think is one of the most important questions we can ask. If the brain can learn fear, if the brain can learn to stay alert, if the nervous system can become sensitive after difficult experiences, can it learn something different? The answer is yes. But the way it happens is often different from what people expect. I think many people imagine healing as a movement where everything surely changes. Almost like one day you wake up and say, so what do you say? I said, I'm done with it. I don't feel anxious anymore. The past doesn't affect me anymore. And I understand why people hope for that. When you've been struggling for a long time, you want to know when will I finally feel normal again? But the brain usually doesn't change um, to one big moment. It changes to repeated experiences. Small experiences that send a new message. A message that says, maybe I'm safer than I thought. And now, um, let's think about learning a new language. Nobody becomes fluent after learning. After hearing one sentence. Am I right? That's impossible, right? You hear the words, you practice, You make mistakes. You hate them again. Over time, your brain starts within a new pathway. Emotional learning works in a similar way. Okay. Your brain created certain connection to repeated experiences. And new experiences can gradually create new connections. Let's imagine someone who has always felt that they need to be perfect. Maybe they grew up believing that mistakes were unacceptable. So every mistake feels like a threat. Every criticism feels extremely painful. And every challenge feels overwhelming. Now imagine that person begins practicing something different. They make small mistakes, and instead of attacking themselves for hours, they respond with understanding. They say, I made a mistake. That doesn't mean I'm a failure. That might seem like a small movement, but for nervous system, small movements matter. So, um, why small movement matters? Because the brain is constantly collecting evidence. It is always asking, what usually happens next. If the brain has collected years of evidence that says mistake lead to danger, you know, then only one positive experience may not immediately change everything. But repeated experiences begin to create a different story. And this is why patience is such an important part of healing, because many people become frustrated when the old reaction appears. Is that right? They think. So what do they think? No, they think I'm too anxious, I'm too triggered, nothing has changed. But what if the goal isn't that the old reaction never appears again? What if the goal that you respond differently when it appears? Imagine someone learning to swim. At first, the water feels frightening, right? It taints the body. The worry about sinking, every movement requires effort. But over time, something changes. The water doesn't become different. The person becomes more comfortable in the water. Healing is often like that. The goal isn't always to create a life when nothing difficult happens. Difficult moments are part of being human. Isn't that right? The goal is to build enough trust in yourself that difficult moments no longer completely control you. And I think this is where self-compassion becomes important. Welcome in, Brent Coit. How you doing? I've been waiting for you. Not the kind of self-compassion where we avoid responsibilities. Not saying nothing matters, but the kind that we stop adding extra suffering on top of our pain. For example, there's a big difference between saying I'm feeling anxious because something is wrong with me, and saying I'm feeling anxious because my nervous system is responding to something it learned. The first thought, grace, shame. The second thought, grace, understanding. And understanding, grace, a different relationship with your own mind. Instead of fighting every thought, instead of being angry every time a memory appears, you begin to become curious. You become curious, right? You begin asking, What is this feeling trying to tell me? What does my body need right now? How can I respond differently? But there's something important um, we need to talk about. Because even when people understand all of this, many still struggle with one question. So what is that question? The question is, why do I know I'm safe, but I don't feel safe? Why does the thinking part of the brain understand something, while the body reacts differently? That's what we need to talk about, the connection between thoughts, emotions, and the nervous system. And now, um, there's something I hear people struggle with again and again. And maybe you've experienced it yourself. You understand something logically, but emotionally, it didn't feel that way. You might tell yourself, I know, I'm okay. I know the situation is over. I know the person is not the same person who hurts me. I know I'm in a different place now, but the body doesn't always respond according to what you know. And it can be very confusing. Because we often assume that if we understanding something, we should immediately feel different. But the human brain and nervous system are more complicated than that. Now, um, think about the time when you watch a scary movie. You know, the movie is not real, right? And you know, the actors are safe. You know that the camera crew standing right there. But when the music changes, when something unexpected happens, your body to react. The heart beats faster. Your muscle tense. You might even jump. Your thinking brain knows. Did you see the movie? But another part of your brain is responding. It said, pay attention. Something important is happening. Emotional experiences can work in a similar way. The thinking part of your brain may understand the present, but your nervous system may to be responding based on what it learned in the past. Imagine someone who spent years living under constant threat. Maybe they always had to watch people's moods. Maybe They had to pretend. They had to predict when someone would become angry. Maybe they felt like they always needed to be prepared for something bad to happen. Over time, the brain becomes very good at scanning for danger. In that environment, that ability may have helped them paying attention, helps them survive. Being alert helps them adapt. But later, the environment changing. The brain may not immediately update. The person might not be in a safe place. They may have supportive people around them. They may have more control over their life. But the nervous system may to be asking, so what do it ask? What should I watch for? What could go wrong? Am I prepared? Did you wise? Some people say, I don't understand myself. My life is better now. So I relax like other people. And I think that we need to be careful about judging ourselves because the nervous system doesn't change uh, through criticism. Tell yourself, Why am I like this? I shouldn't feel this way. Yes. I need to get over it. What do you mean you go, Brankoy? Usually, grace more straight. A more helpful approach is curiosity. I know, but I had to go to the eye doctor today. Why my eyes are red. Do you think I need to put my glasses on? Does that help? Maybe that helped, right? Instead of am I better now? Why am I reacting this way? No. Can't see very well. You're asking? What is my nervous system responding to? What does this remind me of? What would help me feel a little safer right now? And notice something important. I said a little safer. Hello, Benta. Welcome in. Not perfectly safe. No, I'm almost done. Don't worry about me. I'm good. I'm not completely calm. Just a little safer. But thank you, Franco. Sometimes people put too much pressure on themselves. I should be okay, Francois. They think I need to eliminate anxiety. I need to never feel triggered. I need to be completely healed. But the nervous system, I'm good. Don't worry about me. Remember, I just went to eye doctor today. They put eye drop on my eye. That's why. But the nervous system often respond better to small steps. Now, um, think about someone learning to lift weight. They don't start with the heavy weight, right? I'm okay, Franco. I'll rest later. They be strength gradually. Yeah, I'm okay. Don't worry, Franco. Small experiences of safety repeated over time can become powerful. Maybe that means taking a moment to breathe before reacting. Maybe it means noticing I'm having a difficult moment, but I'm here right now. Maybe it means grounding yourself by noticing what you see, what you hear, and what's around you. This movement may seem simple, but opportunities for the brain to learn something. Okay, and I think um, it is one of the most helpful things about the brain. The same brain that learns to protect you can also learn that you're safe. It's not about fighting your brain, it's about working with it. Yeah, I need money. What do you think? But I should be done soon. Don't worry. Um, 136. Now, understanding it is helpful, but many people ask, okay, I understand why this happens, but what can I actually do when it happens? It should be done soon. Don't worry, Francois. What can I do when a memory appears? And what can I do when my body suddenly feels anxious? What can I do in that moment to help myself come back to the present? So that's what I want to talk about next. So now um, we talked about when the experience happens. We talked about why um, the brain can hold onto painful memories. Okay, we talked about why you can understand that you're safe, but you feel unsafe sometimes. The next question is, what can I actually do when it happens? Because understanding is important, but when you're in the middle of a difficult moment, when your heart is racing, when your thoughts are moving quickly, when a memory suddenly appears, you need something simple, right? And I want to start with something important to go in order to find the feeling. Many people instantly do this. They say, I need this feeling to go away. I shouldn't be thinking about it. I need to stop it right now. I mean, and I completely understand why people do that. I mean, nobody enjoy feeling uncomfortable. But sometimes fighting the experience can create even more stress. Now imagine you're trying to calm down a bright child. If the child is scared and you say, stop being scared. There's no reason to feel this way. Just get over it. Did that usually help? Probably not, right? What usually helps more is I see that you're scared. I'm here with you. Let's figure it out. We can use a similar approach with ourselves. Instead of immediately judging the reaction, we can first acknowledge something as simple as I'm noticing that I'm feeling anxious right now. Not something wrong with me. Just um, I'm noticing what is happening. One of the first thing we can do is to remind the brain, I'm here right now. Because during a strong emotional reaction, the brain can sometimes focus heavily on the past. So we gently bring attention back to the present. You might look around your environment, notice. So what do you notice? What do I see? What sound do I hear? What can I physically feel right now? Maybe you notice the chair um, supporting you. Or maybe you notice the feet touching the ground. Maybe you notice the temperature of the room. The simple observations send a message. I am in this moment. I'm not back in that old situation. Another part is the body because emotion are not only thoughts, they're also physical experiences. When the nervous system feels threatened, the body prepares for action. Your breathing may change, your muscles tighten, your heart rate may increase. So one thing that can help is slowing down. Not forcing yourself to become perfectly calm. Just creating a little more space. For example, um, taking slower, taking a slower breath, relaxing your shoulders, unclench your jaw, did letting your body receive the message. I don't have to be in emergency mode right now. And the next part is the way we talk to ourselves. Because many people had two difficult experiences at the same time. First, uh, okay, welcome back, Francois. First, I experienced um, the anxiety, then they criticize themselves for having anxiety. Okay, bye. A good night, Francois. Now they're dealing with you. Okay, bye, Francois. A good night. Now they're dealing with your problems. The original feeling and the judgment about feeling. Now imagine if every time your phone battery became low, and you say, "Why are you doing this? We can't. Um, it should work properly." that protection doesn't change the battery. It just adds more stress. Now, our minds are similar. Sometimes we need to respond with understanding. We can say, my brain is trying to protect me. This feeling is uncomfortable, but it will pass. I can take care of myself in this moment. And I want to add something important here. These tools are not about ignoring shared problems. They're not about pretending everything is fine. They're about creating enough calm and awareness so we can respond instead of simply reacting. Healing is not about never having difficult emotions. Difficult emotions are part of being human being. The goal is building a relationship with those emotions where they don't completely control your life. And this brings us to the final part of today's conversation. Because after everything we discussed, there's one question that I think what the most. How do we stop seeing ourselves as damaged by our past? And start seeing ourselves as people who are still learning, growing, and adapting. That's what I leave you with. Before we finish today's conversation, I want to come back to the question we started with. Whether the brain keep replaying painful memories. At the beginning, we talked about how confusing it can feel, right? How frustrating it can be when something from the past suddenly appears. How many people quietly ask themselves, why am I too affected by this? Why can't I just move forward, right? And I hope today's conversation gave you a different way to look at that. Maybe those memories are not proof that you're weak. Maybe they're not proof that you failed to heal. Maybe the evidence that your parent experienced something important and try to protect you the best way it knew how. Now, the understanding that makes everything that appear immediately that we know, right? And I think it's important to be honest about that. Real change usually takes time. The brain didn't create the pattern overnight. And it usually doesn't update them overnight either. But there's something powerful that can happen when we understand ourselves. Let me check my phone really quick here. We can understand ourselves better, right? We start fighting ourselves. We start asking, why am I broken? And we start asking, what happened that taught me to respond this way? And that is a very different question. One question comes from judgment, the other comes from curiosity. and curiosity creates room for change. Now, I want you to think about something for a moment. Imagine meeting a younger version of yourself, a version of you that was going through something difficult, a version of you that was scared, overwhelmed, confused, or simply trying to survive. Will you look at that person and say, what's wrong with you? What that you just get over it? Probably not, right? Most people would respond with understanding. They would probably say, you were doing the best you could with what you knew at the time. And and maybe that's something we can learn to offer ourselves today. Not an excuse, not avoiding responsibilities, but understanding, compassion, patience. Because your past experiences may have influenced you, but they do not have to define every moment of your future. The brain is always learning. The nervous system is always adapting. New experiences matters. Small movements matter. The way you talk to yourself matters. Maybe healing is not about becoming someone completely different. Maybe healing is about reconnecting with the parts of yourself that were always there. The part of you that wants peace. The part of you that wants connection. The part of you that you hope things can be better. And so, the question I want to leave you with today is this. If your brain learns to protect you from the past, what's a small experience of safety Can you give yourself today? Maybe it's taking a few quiet minutes. Maybe it's allowing yourself to rest without guilt. Maybe it's reaching out to someone you trust. Maybe it's simply noticing I am here. This is today. I made it through difficult moments before, and I want to thank you for spending this time with me today. If the conversation about trauma, anxiety, burnout, and the nervous system are helpful to you, consider subscribing to Karma Collective channel. My channel is about exploring the topic together and making them easier to understand. Um, and remember, understanding yourself is not a weakness. It is the beginning of change. I'll see you in the next conversation. And I want to thank you, um, everyone, for being here with me today and listen to my conversation. I hope it life is helpful to you. I hope you can learn something from this life. And I know it's a little bit long, but I hope you can learn something from this life. And anybody have any question on that, you type in the chat. If not, then I'm going to end this live today. Um, Thank you so much, everyone, for being here with me today. And I'll be going live again tomorrow. Hope to see everyone again tomorrow. Have a good night, good day, wherever you're at.